Hello and welcome to this edition of Classroom Chronicle. I'm Jim Marshall in for Pete Braley today, and today we're going to talk about a topic that's, I was going to say near and dear to my heart, but something we're dealing with now. We want to talk about college, the process of picking a school and the application process, and we are joined by Marlene Sabeh, who is the lead coordinator for Gear Up New Bedford. Gear Up, an acronym. Why don't you tell folks a little bit about the program?
Sure. Good morning. Gear Up stands for Gaining Early Awareness and Readiness for Undergraduate Programs. We have been at New Bedford High School for 20 years, and what we do is preparing our students for college and career. So what we focus on with our seniors mostly is college applications, financial aid, scholarships, CSS profile, the whole process, SAT registration, and later decision day process.
It is a whole process that
it's a comprehensive one, and it can get overwhelming for some of our students, but we're there to help. We have the right support, we have the right resources, and we have the right collaboration in the high school with guidance counselors and other college and career readiness programs, as well as graduation facilitators. So I think we are doing a good job, and this is what I love to do. This is also dear to my heart because it's a passion, it's a calling. When we see our students succeed, there's nothing more gratifying than that.
You look at New Bedford High School and you've seen, over the past, I don't know how many years, a lot of kids just going to school, going to college and doing well.
Yes.
And it shows that's obviously a good thing. It shows how well the school does, New Bedford High, that these kids are doing that option.
Certainly. We're so happy with our numbers, and this year we have what I call a good challenge. We have an increase in enrollment, and I feel that New Bedford High is regaining its status in the region, and with that comes more work, but our students, like you said, are ready, and they are driven to do it, and they want to do it, and they keep doing it. And despite what we encountered last year, we still have those motivated students who want to reach high and seek higher education, whether in Ivy League schools or regular schools or community colleges. We have the best match for each one of them.
Right.
So it's really exciting.
And you would talk to me off air, the biggest thing is the match.
Yes.
More than the school or anything else.
Absolutely.
It's what is the match for student A and college A?
Exactly. This is where we come in. We sit with our students one-on-one. Each one has a different GPA, a different SAT score, a different track, a different aspiration. So we try to find the best match that fits this particular students. There is no great college, period. There's this best college for you, and we try our best to pair them with the best colleges. And we usually have a list of colleges that we would like them to apply to. This way we give them more options because we like our students to have more options so that they are empowered to choose when the financial aid packages come in and they feel that they can pick. And we hope that every time they do the right choice, they make the right choice, because as you know, the finances are usually a decisive factor.
Absolutely.
So we're pushing for FAFSA right now. I know it started on October 1st. And so we are really encouraging all our students to apply because there are a lot of grants and scholarships out there that they are eligible for. So we want them to maximize their resources and get as much as they can, because the financial burden can be overwhelming and can deter them from going altogether.
How is the financial, and I'm generalizing here, how is the financial aid from schools? Are they competitive for the students?
They usually are, and we always communicate with financial aid offices in different colleges to try and see how competitive they can be, especially for early decision and early action, because this is when the students get their acceptance very early. So we want them to be comfortable knowing that they will acquire a good financial aid package. And if the institution is ready to allocate some of their institutional money for students who apply early. But in general, through FAFSA, we get our students to apply and hopefully qualify for not only federal funds, but also institutional money. And it is available. I know that they have a lot of institutional merit and need-based scholarships that they can be available for students.
Start at the beginning now. They say, and I'm generalizing again, beginning in your junior year, you've got to start thinking about college, if that's what you want to do.
Yes.
And I know for 17, 16, whatever age it is, it's still young. It's a hard thing to sort of grasp about, all right, what do I want to do? And I know a lot of kids don't know what they want to do. So what are some of the things that you're talking to the student about when it comes to that?
Sure. We start in junior year, actually, and even before then. First, we start by taking them on college tours just to get them to see different campuses, because it's important for them to be comfortable at the campus itself. Then we do college searches with them. We do workshops for college searches where they enter their own preferences, whether it's the major, location, the setting, the size of the school. And then this engine that we use, it's actually on College Board. It generates a list of possible matches, and then we get them to explore those colleges to see what they have to offer, whether it's majors or, again, the campuses. And then we narrow it down. As juniors, we encourage them to take the SATs in the spring. I know last year was a little strange, but this is the best time to take them because they would have taken enough math and English during that year. And also, SAT usually coincides with AP testing, so the studying will be beneficial for both. And usually they score very well at that time because, again, they would have taken
enough.
They're in
school mode, actually.
Yes, and AP testing, you know how demanding that is. And then we invite them to take them again if they wish, right now, October, November, hopefully to improve their scores. So we start with them early. To answer your question, we start early because we want them to be in that mindset and to explore different careers as well. What do you want to be? And we also explain what each career entails as far as responsibilities, tasks, but also education, because some of them don't know, what do you need to be or to study to be a librarian, for example. But so it's all about knowledge early on so that they are ready right now. My seniors are ready. They know enough information to make that decision.
Is it important, again, is it necessarily important to have a specific major, or is it okay for a kid to say, I just don't know what I want to do right now?
Of course it's okay. Of course it's okay. That's why it is okay to choose the undecided major, because in any case you are going to take the general ed courses. And this way the student is exposed to different disciplines, whether it's humanities or sciences or math. And then by the end of first year, hopefully they will decide what they want to do. So it's perfectly fine. We don't like to deter them if they don't know. No, start going, start taking those classes that you have to take anyway. And then maybe hopefully by the end of first year, you will meet with your college advisor and both of you can decide what is the best major for you.
And it's different. So when you're looking at the schools, I guess from your standpoint, if a student is undeclared or undecided, you're probably looking more at, well, where do you want to go to school as far as location and that. If you have a specific major, you're looking at a school in particular
that has a strong
program. So it's every kid is different, and it's sort of a different
angles. Exactly, different angles. A lot of my students don't want to leave the state. They want to stay close to home. I don't know it's because of the pandemic or not. I don't know. But each one of them, you have to talk to them, to advise them according to what they want, what they're ready for too. We don't want them to fail the first year. It's very challenging by itself. So we want them to be extremely comfortable psychologically as well. So it's important to choose that college that offers them a little bit of both. A lot of seniors choose Boston, for example, because they say, at least it's, I can drive home if I miss my mom. So, but at the same time, I can get the experience of college. I can stay in the dorms and do all that. So it's really, it differs from, one student to the other. And it's very important, as you started earlier, to find the best match. It's the match that we're looking for.
Do you have to narrow your schools down? And I know, as you said, FAFSA started October 1st. No matter what, you need to get your FAFSA in.
Absolutely.
So you don't, I guess, as you're looking at the steps to do it, it's not necessarily important to pick a school, but you've got to get FAFSA in.
Yes. We can, well, on FAFSA, you have to list the schools.
Okay.
We can start with that, but then in parallel, we will do the applications for those schools.
Okay.
But you're right, we start with FAFSA because we need to start with FAFSA. We need to start to create the FSA ID. We need to get those documents, the 2020 taxes from parents and guardians and from the students themselves if they work. So, it's a process. It's not just, a 5-minute task. So we get them started, and once they get started, it's usually done within a week, when they get started. But in parallel with that, we have to start the college process as well, because that information will be sent. It's obsolete by itself, the FAFSA, unless you list the schools, and the information, the whole application will be sent to those schools listed.
Do you recommend, is there a number of schools that you recommend for a student? I mean, I've heard kids apply to like 15 to 20 schools, which seems a lot to me.
Stressful.
But I mean, when you're looking at that, when you're talking to a kid, and I know that you're not looking for a specific, but you say, pick a half dozen schools.
Right, or 6 to 8, you're
is
right.
Okay.
6 to 8 and a variety, private, public, in-state, out-of-state. Have a variety because I want you to be in power. You look at the financial aid packages from different schools that are going to look at you differently because each school is looking for, something specific in students. So you have different angles looking at you, but you are in power. You have all these acceptances, hopefully, and different financial aid packages, and you get to pick in April, and you make the decision in May. So yes, 6 to 8 is a very good number. FAFSA doesn't take more than 10 schools anyway. So if a student has more schools that he or she applied to, we need to make sure that once a couple of schools or 3 or 4 schools receive that information, to delete a couple so that we can add more. So FAFSA limited to 10. So I don't think they should apply to more because it will get overwhelming.
I was going to say, it must be a stressful experience when you're doing that.
Just have a variety, not all public school, not all public colleges. Just have a diverse list of colleges.
You touched on the SATs, and I know, like you said, that right now, October, November, you've got kids taking their second, hopefully. Maybe some cases they're taking their first.
Right.
And I know SATs, I don't want to say they're optional, but a lot of schools now aren't, it's not as important. But it is important in some cases, more for the financial aid, really, I guess.
Financial aid, and to some students, students who have GPAs in the 2.8, 2.9, for example, SATs will be helpful because they will boost the application. Typically, colleges are test optional when students have a GPA of 3.0 and above. More colleges are becoming test optional because they want to offer more leeway to students. But I would like to think about the SATs as, a tool to boost the application, not as a requirement. A lot of seniors who have 3.6, like your son, 3.7, if they have already taken the SATs and they scored okay, I'm not going to push them to take it again. But as far as financial aid, if you have high scores, of course you are going to qualify for merit scholarships. But this year, I feel that the SATs are becoming more of a burden to some students. I'm trying to find a way to advise them in a way that I don't want them to be stressing when they're taking it. But we are offering them the opportunity to take them. We are offering fee waivers and preparation help to help them, hopefully do well on them. But eventually, we have that option to opt out of the SATs, which is very nice. It relieves some of the stress, from some of our students.
From your experience, what are colleges looking for from a student? And again, SATs seem optional, there are some kids who really work hard and their grade point average is, like you said, you're in the 2.8, 2.9,
Yes.
or you're just not. So how is it with students with what colleges are looking for? And I know it's the match, but you don't want kids to panic either, or just keep plugging away, I guess.
Yes, I think they're looking for well-rounded students. And on the Common Application, they have a section for extracurriculars, right? There is a section for letters of recommendation, the essay. So each of these components has its own weight.
Extracurricular is important.
Very important. They want to see students who are involved, whether it's sports, clubs, internships, paid work, jobs. Everything counts. Everything counts. They want to see students who have the maturity, the self-discipline to hold a job and to be a teammate, a team player, or have accomplished internships. That all counts. I promise you it does. The essay, it is read. They will read it because they don't know these students, and they will try to get to know them through their essays. They want to know who they are as a student, but also as a human being. So they are important. We focus on the essay starting junior year because we want it to be an excellent representation of their character. We want their personality to shine because we are proud of them. The letters of recommendation, how's that relationship with your teacher? These mentors or coaches or teachers or bosses who are writing you these recommendation letters, and they have all these nice things to say about you. These words count. And especially if you are opting out of the SATs, more weight is going to be put on these components. So, you want to maintain a decent GPA, you want to have good relationships with your teachers and mentors and administrators, and you want to write a good essay that reflects who you are, and you want to be involved. And I like that because it's not just one thing that defines the student, it's several things. So to answer your question, those colleges are looking for a well-rounded student who is ready for the college life and the career in the future.
And we don't know a lot of time in that sense, but what are the key points that you think the students should hit on their essays? Because you always get that, I don't know what to write about. But so if you had a minute or two to tell a student, what would you say to them?
First of all, be authentic, because when you're phony, it shows right away. Be authentic and be original, and don't play the role of the victim. A lot of our students or ourselves, we have, maybe negative stories in our life. We don't want them to focus on that. We don't want them to dwell on the negative. To the contrary, what I encourage my students to do is to rise above the negativity and learn from it, and show the admission counselor that you rose above all this, all your hardships, and you learned from them, that you have a lesson, you have an aspiration, you have a goal in life that you want to achieve, and that you want to give back to the community. All of those things are positive. But the most important thing is to be authentic and original, and stay away from cliches and being phony.
We're talking with Marlene Sabeh. She is the lead coordinator for Gear Up in New Bedford. We're talking about the college application process, the admission process. You were saying off camera too, it's important to visit the campuses.
Yes. Hopefully this year we will be able to do that with our students. The more visits you accomplish, the better, the better ideas you have about each college, because you might have this conception or perception about a college, and you go visit and it's a completely different feel. You don't feel connected. It's very important to feel connected to the campus, to the staff, and to the culture of the college. So I totally encourage them to do so.
How do you talk to parents too? Because it's, especially with, and many kids in New Bedford, they're the first kids in the family
first generation.
First generation to go, and it's so important. But it's got to be tough for mom or dad to let your kid go.
Absolutely.
So there's got to be a little psychology when you're talking to the parents or the guardians.
Most of our parents are our partners, actually. We talk to them on a regular basis to help us reach out to their students, to their children, our students, and to help us with the process. Most importantly, we get them involved in the financial aid process because we want to explain to them why are we doing this and how rewarding that is, and the amount of grants and scholarships that they might be eligible for. So we talk to them regularly. We invite them to different workshops, to different events. Next week we have open house, so that gives us the opportunity to share with them if we have concerns, if we have any type of conversation we need to have with them. But they are amazing, especially if they hadn't gone to college themselves. They want what's best for their children. Right. So they are more excited sometimes, and they actually tell us, please add this college and that college, and it's actually nice, and I always try to accommodate them or explain why yes or why not. But they are amazing partners, and I salute them for what they do and for the support that they give us, because without that, it's just us with the students, and sometimes it gets harder, right. But we're doing it. We're doing it at New Bedford High School.
We talk about the money aspect, and it's, as you were saying, I think at the start of the program, it's a huge issue for people when they look at it. But I would assume at the start of the process, you're trying to tell folks, don't look at the money first. Look at the college, at the fit, as right. you said, and then sort of figure it out later, because as you just mentioned, right. there are scholarships available that you may not know about.
Right.
Is that the approach you look at? Is like, let's look at the college, let's take the money out and look at the college first?
I don't say let's take the money out. Right. I always say this college offer this outstanding program in environmental engineering, for example, but it is a private school, and the cost of attendance is this much. We will apply for financial. I always throw it there because I don't want to set them up for a heartache. You know, I don't do that, because we have the ability to apply to other more affordable colleges, but I don't exclude it, because as you said, we don't know what the college will see in the student or how much of their institutional money they will be willing to give that student. But it's always good to be clear right from the start as far as cost of attendance or the sticker price, and so that they know why we are choosing different colleges on this list. I think that's the best way to go about it, the best approach.
We've got about 5 minutes left. I want you to sort of give for lack of a better word, schedule. As we look, October 1st, what are some of the, I don't want to say deadlines, but what are some of the key dates right now that you sort of generically, some of the key dates that you're looking at for kids right now that they have to get X, Y, Z done?
Sure. We're looking first, naturally, we are seeing our early action and early decision students without neglecting our regular students, only because early action and early decision have deadlines, as you said, whether it's November 1st, November 15th, or December 1st. It ranges in that month. So we need the application to be submitted by the deadline. We need to have the CSS profile done for those schools, and of course the financial aid. Some of those students will be waiting for the scores for the October 2nd SATs, because they want to choose. See, that's a good thing. They want to choose if they want to submit them or not in this application. So we are waiting to make that decision once the scores are out. So this is what we are doing right now. I would like all my students to be done by Thanksgiving. I keep saying this. They know I keep saying it because
for all students, generally,
it's not a bad idea to be done by then. It doesn't mean if you're not done, it doesn't mean it's too late. But I always try to have that schedule with them. They know how I work. I start contacting them in September, and we have that schedule for each one of them when we meet one-on-one, so they know.
And you're not saying choose a college by November. You're saying
be done.
Yeah.
Be done. Absolutely done. You don't have to wait till January 1st to submit to BU. There's no need if you have everything done. Just keep doing well in your classes, because they will look at first quarter grades. So that's important, and they will require the final transcript. So maintaining your GPA is key, because we've heard of some acceptances being rescinded.
Really?
Absolutely, because the seniors are accepted.
Senioritis,
I'm done.
Senioritis sets in.
No, you need to you need to finish strongly. So, but as far as schedule, we like to finish before the holidays. But of course, you always have other students who will apply to BCC or other community colleges. We always have exceptions, but it can be done for all our students to finish by Thanksgiving. It's not something that is not attainable.
So for the most part, all your applications are in, and what you were saying that the decisions by the schools usually come out in what, March, April, something
March,
like that?
yeah, and then the financial aid packages will come maybe, if not in the same package, by April, and then decision day is May 1st that we celebrate at New Bedford High School, because it's a big celebration.
So as the kids, as the families are applying, all their stuff is in, they get it, and they'll have a couple weeks, because they're going to have, like you said, hopefully a half dozen options.
Right.
So they'll have a few weeks to decide,
Yep.
Here it is, and what, by May you're saying?
Right, May 1st. They have to send in the deposit and to reserve your slot.
That's sort of a hard date.
It is. It's a nice day, and it's, by then, May 1st, they know where they're going, so it is a celebration. They know what kind of grants and scholarships they're getting. They have figured it out. Then after that, we start with what happens next, waiving the health insurance, doing all of those, the meal plans. We help with that too. And even before the decision is taken, we help them with that decision. We give them our advice. We tell them this package means this is how much you're going to pay out of pocket, as opposed to this, as opposed to that. And they make that decision based on the information we provide. Sometimes they choose to go to their number one school, even if it means paying a little more, and that's fine, as long as they know what does that entail, how much money they will have to pay. I want them to be well informed before going into that, going on that journey.
So the big thing really, we got a minute left, but the big thing sort of is just to be organized.
Yes.
And you've mentioned a couple times, don't be stressed.
Start early, you won't be stressed.
Correct. Just sort of do what you need to do, and you guys will do it as a team. And
we have great resources at New Bedford High School. I like to mention all the guidance counselors who are always there for the students.
Well, they're important they're hugely
They are
important.
amazing at New Bedford High School. I mean, the level of caring and really being there for the students. We have graduation facilitators. We have other programs like Talent Search. We have Gear Up, Upward Bound. All of us trying to help our students be ready for that process. So they don't have lack of resources. We have the support. Ms. Coelho is really very, very serious about college and career readiness. She's always asking us and helping us and offering all the different resources, technology, anything we need. So starting early is key, and just asking for advice and listening to teachers and guidance counselors and advisors.
If anyone has any questions for you, how can they get a hold of you?
I am at New Bedford High School in the Gear Up program. Do you want my
contact?
I'm in B211 and I'm on teams with all the other staff members.
If they call the high school and they ask you,
yes, they will reach me. Gear Up is very well known. Like I said, if it's been there, we're the best program ever. Near Bedford High School. We love the school, and we have such amazing partnership with everybody at the school. So we're like one family working together. So yes, if you call the high school and ask for the Gear Up program, they will know how to reach me.
It was nice meeting you. Thanks for the information. It was great.
Thank you. It was so exciting, and I'm so happy I'm here. Thank you for having me.
That's going to do it for this edition of Classroom Chronicle. I'm Jim Marshall in for Pete Braley. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.
Open up your books to page 360.
Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Talking about inspirational quotes.
You gotta believe in yourself. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.